Um,
Yeah, we're a Google Meet school, so Zoom is I have the free version. So we got some
but
questions for you.
yeah, let's hear it.
Merlin's up first.
With your experience, what would you say is the most dangerous sport?
What's the most dangerous sport?
Yeah, like
Um, I'm going to just classify it as a contact or collision sport in general. So think of things like ice hockey, football, rugby, lacrosse. The things that we've learned about those sports in particular over the last 10 to 15 years, especially with the head injuries that go along with a lot of those sports, tend to have more longer lasting impacts on people after they're done competitively competing in those sports. We see those kind of being more long lasting effects as opposed to some of the other sports that don't fall into that category. So I think those ones would be the most severe or the most dangerous sports. And those are the ones that we typically see the more severe injuries in. Like I showed you that slide a little bit ago with the different fractures and the cardiac arrests and those types of things. You guys remember maybe watching the Olympics and watching Lindsey Vonn, she tore ACL there at the beginning of the Olympics and then tried to do one last trip down the mountain and didn't make it too far and ended up breaking her leg in several different spots and happened to be airlifted off the mountain. So um, some of those things are the more serious, the more dangerous ones for sure.
Did you have a question?
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know if you said it earlier, so why did you choose athletic training in the first place?
Greg, can you summarize that? I
Yep.
heard it, but I didn't hear it very well.
Yep. He wants to know, why did you choose athletic training as a profession?
Oh, sure. I was actually introduced to this when I was a student in high school. I played, recreational baseball and stuff growing up. I wasn't good enough to make a varsity team or anything like that, and so I got really lucky. And back 20, 25 years ago now, almost, my high school had two certified athletic trainers on staff that were looking to try to get students involved and help them out in the training room. And so that's where I kind of got exposed to it, and it's just kind of grown ever since. And so, yeah, I was exposed to it and saw kind of the fun things that we get to do with helping athletes go from the second that they're injured and seeing them all the way back to the return to play process is it was pretty rewarding for me. So that's ultimately why I chose AT. Physical therapy was never really in my level of interest. I wanted to work with athletes, and so that's why I kind of stuck with athletic training, where physical therapy you're working with folks of all different ages, dealing more with neurological conditions and those types of things that I don't necessarily deal with on the AT side of things. So that's kind of why I chose AT over physical therapy. And a lot of the same reasons why I chose to get into teaching too, is I kind of get to see a student start at the beginning of our program and see them grow and matriculate and go out and do some fun things as professionals. So helping those students get to where they're at is pretty rewarding as well.
What's a typical day look like for your students?
Yeah, so for our program, we have most of our classes in person. They're in the mornings from about 8 till 11:30-ish, most mornings of the week. And then we ask them to do about 20 to 25 hours of clinical rotations per week. And so those are done usually in the afternoons and evenings when sports practices and competitions are going on. Every once in a while, we'll get a sport where they have to do some morning practices and stuff like that, but those aren't as popular as the afternoon ones are. And so, yeah, we're keeping them busy in AT about 40 hours a week or so between the classes and the clinicals that they have to do. And then about 80 to 85% of our students have a part-time job on top of that to help pay their bills. And so they're working at Target, or they're working as a server, bartender, they're working on campus, lots of different ways that they have part-time employment. So
What's the immersive experience? Can you explain that a little more?
Yeah, so we in the summer between your first and your second year is when students do their immersive experience for our program, and every AT program is a little bit different in how they handle that experience. But ours is kind of an internship process, so that's really the opportunity that you have to pick what you want to do for your experience. So we have a lot of our students that they want to work in high level D1 football. They want to work in professional sports. And so that's the opportunity that they have to go and get experience in those settings. So this last summer, we had somebody at the University of Kansas, somebody at Iowa State. We've had students down at University of Alabama, Virginia Tech, all sorts of different places from a college standpoint. But we've also had a bunch of students work in professional football and baseball as well. And so those are some really good opportunities to get experience to put on your resume to work in some of those settings.
What's a typical day look like for you personally?
For me, on the teaching side of things, my day's pretty normal business hours. I'm in my office by about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then usually walking out around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Go home and spend a few hours with the kiddos, and then doing usually some work on my computer before I end up going to bed. So for my day, it's teaching primarily in that morning, and then spending some time in our pitching lab and stuff in the afternoons. That pitching lab is open to the community, and so we, like this morning, actually, the reason I couldn't come up to be there in person with you guys is we actually had a softball pitcher fly in from California to do our pitching assessment this morning. So that poor girl got to see the blizzard that we had yesterday and experience that from being from California. But yeah, so she flew in from out of state to do our pitching evaluation. So we do a decent amount of those in the afternoons and evenings. And then typical faculty work, Greg and I have to sit in meetings and stuff like that every once in a while too. So
How many people do you run through your pitching lab in a typical semester?
yeah, I mean, our fall semester is our busiest. We've got, we'll probably see anywhere from, um, 20 to 30 people per month. Like I said, it's a 2-hour assessment. So sometimes we're doing those as one-off, where it's one person from one team that's coming in. Sometimes we're doing an entire team. So like I said, we do UNO's entire pitching staff 2 or 3 times a year. But we also have worked with like Hastings College and Concordia and Bellevue. That is kind of in our own backyard here, where they're going to bring in multiple pitchers. So yeah, it's and the fall is when we're the busiest. We're really busy in that September, October, November timeframe, when those softball and baseball sports are kind of in their off season, looking to try to make some improvements in their mechanics and their performance and stuff.
One more question somebody's got to ask. Who has one?
What's your most unique experience on your job?
My most unique experience was back when I was an athletic trainer working with UNO's baseball team. We had just made a trip to Florida, and I had 2 outfielders, the center fielder and the left fielder, playing positions in that game that they had never played before. One typically was our shortstop, and the other one was a bullpen relief pitcher. And so we were down a few guys, and we needed some guys to play in the outfield. So they both went for a pop fly and did not call each other off. And one of the kids' shoulders went into the other kid's abdomen and caused a lacerated kidney. And that kid spent 10 days in the ICU on our trip to Florida, and ended up losing about half of the function in that kidney that was lacerated. So that's probably the most unique one that I've had to deal with. There's been some other fractures and those types of things that have come up over the years, but having a kid have to stay in the ICU for 10 days when we're on a road trip was not fun. So the other kid whose shoulder ran into me actually fractured his scapula in a couple different places. So we flew him back, and he ended up having to have shoulder surgery to fix his shoulder blade. So pretty nasty hit in the outfield that those two guys took. So
Any other questions? All right, give Dr. Wilkins a hand. I'll post your contact information on Moodle forum, so if they have any questions, they can reach out and go from there.
that sounds good. Appreciate you inviting me to speak again.
Yep, thank you so much.
All
Are you
right,
going, are you going this weekend?
Yep, I'll be in Des Moines.
Okay,
We'll
I'll
see
be
you
there
there.
too.
All right, perfect.
Okay, see you there.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.